Empower Hour. That's what we do here on Thursday. We're still in the book Unstoppable Self-Confidence, so we're going to take some thoughts away and some of the learning away from this week's chapter 12. It's being the incredible power of being your authentic self. It starts on 272 with a quote: "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Do you think you are? Who you were meant to be, who you wanted to be? What do you think? Do you think? Unapologetically you. You followed and chased all your dreams that you wanted. Every single thing. Did you? Or did you cut yourself short? When was the last time you were really you? When was the last time you felt like you were really you? When was the last time you were a 100% unapologetically you? When was the last time you were able to say you were that? You know, you've gone to certain situations or been in certain, experiences where you kind of shied away from being you, or you didn't participate because you were afraid what somebody might say in return. When was the last time you were unapologetically you? Can you remember that last time? For a lot of us, that might be when we were children, when we were a child. When you were a young child, you were naturally confident and successful, and you were fully authentic, right? You achieved more incredible things in the first few years of your life than you had at any other time. You expressed exactly what you thought and felt. I mean, how many of you have young kids, and then when you take them out in public, you have no idea what they're going to say? Like, no idea how they're going to respond to certain situations. Like, we can never be prepared for what they do, right? Can never be prepared. But you, on the other hand, or me, or as we go through life, we sort of learn how to respond in certain kind of ways. The kids don't really know at that age, right? What's appropriate, what's not appropriate, right? And who's to say what is appropriate and what's not appropriate anyway? That's a whole nother discussion for this chapter today. But, kids, you be damned. Kids say the damnedest things. Does anyone remember that show from eons ago? Kids Say the Damnedest Things. I loved it. Thought it was great. You knew exactly what you wanted when you were younger. You knew exactly what you wanted to do. If you wanted that toy, if you wanted that Pez, if you wanted that candy, and you were very vocal about it too, right? You would kick, you would jump, stomp, and steam. Your kids do it all the time. Think about your young kids. Think about what they do. Think about what they do, right? When things didn't make sense to you, you would question it, right? You would ask questions. Why? The famous word, why? The famous question that kids ask, why? But at these times of our life, we tend to skip over that curiosity. Some of us just think that we don't have time for it, or maybe it's not worth the exploration or trying to figure out why. The answer is we just sort of begin to accept what is. We do, right? All the shoulds, right, weren't barriers. They weren't barriers for you being who you were at this point in life. This was your natural state. You were naturally confident. You weren't trying to be confident or successful then. You just were, right? Because you hadn't learned at that time yet. You hadn't learned what you were supposed to be. You hadn't learned what you should be, or should act, or how you should behave. None of that was there, right? But over time, you were taught these rules. All the shoulds that your parents, teachers, friends, and the wider society pushed you to think and believe, right? You learned it so well, like most people, you stopped even realizing that there were even rules that you were following or abiding by or behaving, like the dominant culture, if you will, right? Yeah? You became programmed by society as you grew, as you entered school, being told what to do, what you shouldn't do, right? Was no longer able to dream. We began to put boundaries around things. But the problem is those rules aren't yours. They're not yours. Those shoulds weren't your shoulds. That blueprint for life wasn't your blueprint for how you feel your life should be. You stopped liking the person you became with all the suffocating and the stifling rules that you have to abide by now, all the shoulds that you need to aspire to, that you can't seem to maybe get to, and you're like, what's wrong with me type of thing? Why can't I get it? Why can't I do this, right? Start to beat yourself up for rules that are not even yours. You didn't even make those rules. Somebody's forcing you to conform to these rules, right? And then the others told you and told yourself that lie, that you lack confidence. Another way, because you weren't measuring up to the rest. You weren't measuring up. You didn't quite meet the mark. You didn't quite meet the mark according to them, right? Do you see the insanity in this process here? You see the insanity in this process? We are trying to live our lives under a set of rules and conditions that we didn't even agree to. We didn't agree to that, right? Like one of the rules that my mom famously did after we would eat was, you can't go swimming in the pool for at least 30 minutes after dinner. Come to later find out that really wasn't a rule, right? We weren't going to get cramps swimming because we just ate and jumped to the pool. It's because mom wanted time to clean the dinner table and the dishes before she can get herself outside to watch us. But she told us, can't go swimming, you're going to get a cramp. You got to wait 30 minutes until you digest your dinner and go in the pool, right? So we couldn't go swimming because we were living by somebody else's sets of rules. Now that's understandable, of course, for safety reasons, but if you just think about it in other ways, you went to school, and before you were a rock star at home, right? Some of you probably were singing for microphones, right? You wanted to be, Celine Dion back then, right? You had all these dreams and aspirations of what you wanted to do. And then it got screwed up. Society screwed it up. Society screwed it up for us. It made us have to conform to one way of living, and if we don't live that way, then something must be wrong with you, right? I think about me very often, right? In my later 30s at this point, not married, right? People are like, you're broken. I'm not broken. I'm smart, okay? I don't need all that baggage right now. I'm not broken. I'm smart. I don't need to deal with it, right? Because you want me to be, that doesn't mean that that's what I want to be, right? Right? Why is all this pressure? What is all this pressure about? From people we don't even know to conform in certain ways that are not us. I need you to know the truth is there's nothing wrong with you. Nothing whatsoever. Nothing wrong with you. The real you. There's nothing wrong with the real you. It's not the real you that you don't like. It's not the real you that you don't feel confident with. It's not the real you that you don't feel confident because you're trying to reach these unattainable goals that were bestowed on you that you didn't even choose, right? You didn't choose. You didn't choose that. So creating the right blueprint for you is something that you need to take back, right? So we've been living under these, unconscious set of rules for so long, but how do we reconfigure this? How do we reset these rules so that we no longer feel this pressure on us to have to perform a certain kind of way, right? So this quote by Mandy Hale, you'll learn as you get older that rules are made to be broken. Be bold enough to live life on your terms and never, ever apologize for it. Go against the grain. Be courageous. Refuse to conform. Take the road less traveled instead of the well-beaten path. I like that one. And stubbornly refuse to fit in. Stubbornly refuse to fit in. I don't need to be like you, right? What was that movie? Mean Girls, right? Oh, you can't wear a polo or whatever once a week, or you can't sit with me, right? You can't sit with me. You know what? Who wants to sit with you anyway? Who wants to sit with you anyway if I have to do certain things on certain days or whatever just to be, to get attention, right? Who wants to do that? That's a lot of energy. There's so many more productive things I can think of that you could spend your energy on rather than worrying about whether or not your outfit looks good enough to fit in with the group, the groupies, right? Who wants to be around those groupies? Who wants to be? So it's about creating your new blueprint, your own set of rules, right? You have to become the person you wanted in order to create the life you want to live. Okay, you can't somehow achieve the life that you wanted to live under these same conditions. Because if that was the case, why aren't you living your best life? Food for thought. Right? So something needs to give. Something needs to change. Something needs to change. Something needs to be different in order for you to be successful with your goal of being who you want to be in life. It's certainly not going to come if we continue to operate under those same conditions that we've been operating, because otherwise we would have achieved it by now. Otherwise, we would have achieved it. Why are we still feeling this way? So you have to become the person you wanted to be in order to live the life you're looking to have. Okay? This statement here is so true. Confidence, happiness, and success comes from who you are, not what you have. Who you are, not what you have. Your brand new shoes or your outfit is not going to change the way you pick at yourself in the mirror, the way you pick yourself apart, the way you tell yourself that there's some of these things that you don't like about you, right? That new outfit is not going to give you that motivation to step outside the box, because with the outfit or not, you're still the same person underneath, right? So it doesn't come from it comes from who you are. Who you are, not what you have. The other thing here that's very striking is this. Happiness and success cannot and does not come from external stuff. Otherwise, if the stuff goes away, so does your confidence. So I can't ground my confidence on a partner or a relationship, right? Boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. How can you do that? Right? I know so many people that I speak to in this world of life coaching. Oh, I just want to find somebody and be happy. Are you connecting your happiness to the need for somebody to arrive in your life to give it to you? Well, guess what? You'll wait a lifetime, and I'm sure you already have. I'm sure you already have. Because happiness doesn't come from anybody. It comes from you. From you, how content you feel about you and your current situation, where you're at in life, what you have. It's an honest assessment of you. And if you want to continue to think that your life isn't that great, right, then we need to change your mind a little bit. Got to think about it, because every single one of us has bright spots. You're amazing. You are. But you just choose not to see how amazing you are, and you choose not to give yourself credit for how amazing you are. If you really, really, really dig in, change your mindset about how you view certain things about you, you'll recognize that the things that you don't like are because you're comparing yourself to other people. You're putting that pressure on you to conform or be somebody you're not. And this chapter was all about being who you want to be, your authentic self. That's what it was about. Being the best you. So you cannot get happiness from a relationship. You can experience happiness with somebody, but your true happiness is your responsibility. You are responsible for your own happiness. Goes on to say the right blueprint, right? Because we're reworking this blueprint. We're no longer living against what society thinks we're supposed to be, how we're supposed to be it. But the right blueprint has 3 parts. The first is the very best version of you. The very best version of you. The second part is a new set of rules. Not the same set of rules that we're operating from today, or we have been operating from for years. You need to create new rules. And guess what? You can. You can live by your own set of rules. I know a lot of people who do. And the last part is, I think, the hardest. I struggle with this because I guess it's hard to really answer sometimes. But the last part is to get clear on what you want. I can't tell you how many times people are in a certain kind of space and I say, well, what do you want? And it's just like radio silence. You just spent 20 minutes explaining to me how miserable your life is. And I asked you, what do you want? And you can't respond to that. Think about that for a second. What do you want? What are you fighting for? What are you trying to achieve? Where are you going? You can only really know what you truly want when you know who you truly are. What are your strengths? What are some of your strengths? Think about that for a second. What's your strength? I'm sure if I asked you what your weaknesses are, you could probably send me a whole, narrative based on that. But when I ask you what your strengths are, the list is this big compared to the weaknesses is a mile long, right? And often we confuse our strengths with, I'm a good mother, good parent, I'm organized. Oh, great. So you're good for your job and you're good for your kids. What about you? What are you good? What's your strength that's good for you? What is it? Can't be something related to work. That's good for work. That helps work. That doesn't help you. What are your strengths? What are they? You need to think about that. You need to be clear on what you want and who you are. You need to know who you are. You need to know who you are. Becoming the very best you, the quote is, I am. 2 of the most powerful words for what you put after them shapes your reality. I am. I am great. I am brilliant. I am smart. I am beautiful. I am kind. What are you? How many can you come up with? How many I am statements can you come up with that are benefiting you? Not benefiting your job, not benefiting your kids, not benefiting your status as a sibling in the family, Who are you that benefits you? Who are you? I am. Come up with a few of those statements and say those out loud. Scream them from the mountaintops. I am. I am happy. I am happy. As you grow up, you get told by your parents, siblings, teachers, friends, what type of person you are. You get told that you are happy, bossy, charming, shy, depressed, clever, fat, sporty, and 100 other labels. People are really good at telling you who you are, right? Got a lot to say. And equally, you get told the kinds of things someone's like you can or cannot do, right? Oh, you can't do that. Oh, you won't be able to do that. No, you can't move. No. You want to go back to college? Well, what about taking care of your kid? You're just going to let your kid just grow up by themselves? Is that what you're going to do? They make it sound so terrible. Right? Since when does advancing your own self, since when is that a problem? Why does it have to like make me a bad parent because I have kids if I want to do something like that? What's with the negativity, right? What's with that? So over time, you consciously or unconsciously start to accept these labels and facts. Start to accept them. And you know what? What's so bad about that? It starts to become your identity. Shapes your experiences that you expose yourself to. Shapes the things that you do day to day. Your decisions you make. Right? Who you are. So consider for a moment what labels were bestowed on you. What did people tell you that you were? What did they say about you? What did they say about what you couldn't do? What blessings did they try to block that we now need to re-get? We need to reclaim our gifts. We need to reclaim those gifts. Need to reclaim those gifts. So creating the new rules, which is the second part of this blueprint, right? The second part. For your authentic, confident, successful life is to create the rules for you to live by. And only you, okay? Think of it as your code for life, okay? It's the set of rules you consciously chose to govern your life, right? Not these things on the outside, not society telling you what you should be, none of that, right? It's about what you want to be. What are the rules that you can live by, right? Have you ever stopped to consider what rules that you live by? You ever stop to think about that? What rules govern you day to day when you wake up? What rules govern you when you make a decision? Have you ever thought about that? It goes into your values, right? What do you value most? What are the rules, right? What are the rules? So there's some examples. I'm going to read these rules. I'm going to read them and pause, and you can choose whether or not you want to incorporate them, take them away, keep them. Rule number 1. I do not accept others' rules. I will define my own. That's a start, right? That's a start. Disrupting the status quo. Number 2, I make the intelligent but bold choice. I do not play small ever. Number 3, these could be also considered affirmations too, right? Number 3, I am 100% authentically me. No matter what situation I'm in, no matter what I'm faced with, no matter what, I am 100% authentically me. Rule number 4. This is a tough one. I say no to things that don't work for me and that don't align with my values. I say no. We have a leadership problem globally. Right? We need some people to say no. Okay? No. No means no. Rule number 5, and you can say no. Don't be afraid to say no. Number 5, I spend time every day working on my mind. Staying positive, shifting the negative to positive, right? I always said, when somebody comes home, like whoever's in the household or whatever, and you ask them the dangerous question, how was your day? It's like, I say dangerous because, I want to be like, oh my God, tell me about what happened. You've been gone all day. What's been going on? And normally the only thing you get is, this one at work said this thing, and this was stressed out, and this thing. Okay, I asked you how your day was. Okay? That was it. That was the only question. It wasn't a rite of passage to just start word vomiting everywhere. But I think that points to the greater problem, right? It's that when we're asked that question, we automatically go to that negative piece, the things that bugged us the most. We latch on to those things in the day. So when I ask you how your day is and you're telling me at the end of the day, you're summarizing what has happened, and the only things that you're telling me are the negative things, what does that say about you? What does that say about your frame of mind? What does that say about all the things that you pay attention to? I'm sure there were some moments of success or whatever you experienced in the day. Maybe your lunch was really delicious, or somebody, bought you a coffee, whatever. But we don't remember that. We only remember when, Sabrina was talking smack or whatever. I mean, you name it. We just don't hold on to the moments of joy in the day as much as we do on those negative things. We're like magnets to negativity. It's so addicting, right? It's so addicting. Why? Why do we do that? Another rule, I am kind, decent, and act with integrity, but I will never tolerate anything less than the same from other people in my life. Another rule, no negativity. That's a good rule. It's a good rule to live by. No negativity. I'm done with that. No more negativity. Over it. Over it. Over it. Rule number 9. I do not let anyone treat me badly, ever, under any circumstances. Let's unpack that for a second, right? What we're not saying is that if somebody says something sly or whatever, that you go off, like a bottle rocket, right? And start standing up for yourself and puffing your chest and be like, okay? Because what's that resolving? What's that solving, right? Because likely the person who's on the other side doesn't have any skills, because they wouldn't have said that to begin with if they did, right? And now you're engaging in a tit for tat with somebody who doesn't see themselves. I'm telling you, the most challenging thing to do is to deal with somebody who doesn't see themselves, who are not self-aware of how their behaviors affect other people or even people like ourselves. And we just really want to fix it. And for some of us, it's like a mission. Like it's a matter of principle. Like, we will die on this sword. We will say what we need to say. And it's like, it drives us insane. But every single time you engage, the train is off the track, right? How many of those conversations have you had that you left and you were successful getting your point across? Probably a few. Probably failed to get your point across a lot more than you succeeded. Right? So what's the point? What's the purpose? And what I try to tell the people I work with is stop responding to everything, right? We're so hypervented. Respond. We need to respond. Stop responding and start taking notes. The only person you can control and change is yourself. If you don't like the way somebody else is behaving or acting, you cannot fix them. You cannot change them. It's impossible. If you have some kind of a vision for how you should be loved or treated, and you're trying to get your other person to hold your hand in public or give you a kiss on the cheek or, whatever, and they don't do it, and then all of a sudden you're starting to feel a certain kind of way because this person is not complying, right? It's not conforming to what you would like. And then we get so stressed out, and then it bugs us and busts our confidence, right? We get frustrated. Does this person even love us? They're not willing to hold my hand in public. They're not willing to just, be different for once, right? It's the same old every time. But you hold on to this hope that you somehow have some magical Miss Cleo powers that you can change them. You're waiting too long for that change. You've been waiting too long for that change. You don't need to wait anymore. What you need to do is recognize the person's behavior. Take notes. Don't respond, because that's their authentic self coming to you. And if you want to respond and kind of tell people, how to correct their behavior so it suits you, they're going to screw up. They'll be good for a little while, but they'll screw up, and then you'll be disappointed. And then what? Then what happens? You're going to continue to stick by and fight for one person out of 8 billion people on this planet to come to their senses? Is that what you're going to do? Why wait? Why? Why are you giving that person so much leniency? Would you have given anybody else that same amount of leniency? Probably not. Do you give yourself that leniency? Definitely not. Definitely not. Right? Take notes of behavior. Stop responding to it or trying to correct it or remind them the ways in which, right? You've told them 100 times, okay? Take notes. Start tallying up how many times they've violated or made you feel inferior, right? I observe, not judge. That's another rule. I don't seek anyone's approval. I mean, that's a big one. Especially some of us who come from big families, right? We thrive in that larger setting, right? And we always want approval, right? We always go back for some approval. We tend to not make large decisions on our own. But why? It's your life. Right? And you know damn well what's going to happen when you go to them with your idea or what you'd like to do. It's going to be shot down immediately. But yet we go to those same sources to get shot down, right? And then we feel like we're worthless, we have nowhere to go, and we can't do it because our family, the greatest people who are closest to us are telling us that we can't. Change your source. Change who it is that you're speaking to and trying to figure out and navigate life. Navigating life with the people closest to you is difficult because everybody seems to know the answer. The answer that's best for you. Yeah, everyone does. Everyone, right? I mean, the moment like you're in need, like 100 people have answers for how to fix it. And be careful about who you're taking advice from too, right? Some of us go to those people who can't even manage themselves. They can't even manage their damn selves, and they're sitting here preaching to you, trying to tell you what you should do and give you advice. I mean, this person doesn't have a pot to piss in. Who are you getting advice from? Who are you asking for help? Who? Change who you go to. Change. I don't hide any part of me away or pretend to be something I'm not. That's a good thing. This is probably one of the best rules, and I hope all of you adopt it. I am 100% responsible for the quality of my life. Right? And even just take out quality and put happiness. I am 100% responsible for the happiness in my life. You are. And who are you entrusting with that? Who are your people? Right? Are they the same people that just want to keep you down? Who are your people? Do you have a life coach? You have one? I recommend finding one, getting one. Objective viewpoints are extremely important. Like if you have a trusted advisor from school or whatever, if you're in school, community person, like the worst thing to do is to be talking to all those people who seem to know you better than you know yourself, right? So then we get to page 287. Authenticity and integrity are two sides of the same coin. They are. Honesty is more than not lying. It's truth-telling, truth-speaking, truth-living, and truth-loving. Honesty is more than not lying. It is. When I read this section here, I think about Miguel Ruiz's 4 agreements. You know what they are, right? I use them a lot in here because, we tend to forget them. We forget them in our wildest moments, but we do. We forget them, right? We forget Miguel Ruiz's be impeccable with your word. That's integrity, right? Be impeccable with your word. Speak your truth, truth-telling. Be honest about how you're feeling. Be honest about how something made you feel. And you may not be able to be honest with the person you'd like to be, like the one who, made you feel that certain kind of way. Just going back to a conversation we had earlier, is that you're dealing with somebody who doesn't see themselves. So you'd be banging your head through glass. You're better off banging your head through glass and getting that person to see the light. They're not going to see the light. Not going to see any light. But Miguel Ruiz's 4 agreements: be impeccable with your word, right? Don't make assumptions. That's a hard one. Like, we all have the answers, right? We don't have enough information to draw a conclusion, but yet we tell ourselves the worst case scenario all the time. Because you know what? Why not, right? Let's put ourselves through hell, right? The situation, I have a little bit of unknown. Somebody asked to talk to me, and they told me at the end of the day, and now I have to go home thinking about what they want to talk to me about. And then when you go in, they're like, hey, I'm giving you a raise. And you're like, oh my God. Oh my God, all that worry and concern for what? Because you made assumptions. You tried to Think about the worst possible case scenario, why they wanted to talk to you. Replayed every event, every meeting you were in, everything you've said, done, this thing and the iota. You even like caught up on your emails and everything all night long so that when you went in, you weren't going to like get caught with your pants down or whatever, right? Don't make assumptions. Such a waste of good, valuable time that you could be engaging in self-care, self-love, doing something you want to do, right? Don't take things personally. That's the third agreement. And always do your best is the fourth. You know, I like to say, like, you know, a lot of us, we even struggle with our best because we have this battle of perfectionism. We strive to be perfect. It needs to be perfect. What the hell is perfect? Define it for me. In that moment, when you're stuck, what does perfect mean? What's stopping you from pressing send? What's stopping you from making the decision? Define it. Try to get yourself to stop and ask yourself, what am I striving for? What am I trying to achieve? What am I trying to achieve? Do your best. That's all you can do, right? If it's not good enough, so be it. So be it. I'm doing the best that I can, right? If you're not happy with it, screw you. I'm going home. It's that simple. Screw you. Screw you. I did the best that I could. Maybe next time give me better instructions or whatever, right? But don't put that on yourself. Don't put that. That's too much to put on yourself. Way too much. Way too much. So some things to consider, right? Some things to consider about all this. I want you to consider when was the last time you were truly able to be yourself? Consider that. Consider whose rules, whose blueprint for life you are following. Did you consciously choose these rules? Are they your rules? Or the rules that you've accepted from greater society? Which? Consider what labels have been given to you that you no longer need. What new labels that can help you could you choose now? What would you choose now? Consider the person that you dream of being as the person that you really are. That the only thing that is blocking you from being that person right now is your ego. Don't rush past this point. Slow down and consider what this means for you. Next thing to consider, be aware of your ego telling you that you either live this new way perfectly 100% of the time, or that you've just failed miserably at life. Ask yourself if this way of thinking helps or harms you. Certainly harms. Consider the benefits to you in your life of living this way more. What are the benefits of being who you really want to be? And consider the freedom of never again having to pretend to be someone or something you're not. The freedom of being 100% you. 100% you. I think what you need to remember is you're a great person. You are. But what has happened is that we've been programmed by people who disguise themselves as friends or family to tell us what's best for us because they know everything. Right? They must. They've known me my whole life. Right? They couldn't steer me wrong. It's toxic. It's not who you really are. And stop asking them for help. Because every time you do, they shoot you down. So why do you go back again and again and again and deal with it and put up with it? When do you put your foot down? When do you say, okay, maybe it's not good for you, but I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to do it. And you can't stop me. You know why? Because I'm an adult. Watch me go. Just walk right out. Watch you go. But then there's a lot of us that are fearful for the repercussions, right? Because then our family, because they're so little-minded, simple-minded, right? If you don't do what they want you to do, then they want nothing to do with you. You know what I call that? Narcissism. Control. Get away from me. Telling me, threaten me like that. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? You're not going to steal my sunshine today. Not today. No way, Jose. Who died and made them God? Who died and made them, you know? Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. This is your life. You are free to live it the way you want to live it. And certainly don't live it by anybody else's wishes or desires for who you are, because we already know who you are. You're incredible. You're amazing. You're wonderful. You're a joy to be around. You're perfect. Whatever that means. But tell yourself all that. Because you are. You are. I always say the creation of life is both purposeful and magical. That it even took its time to create you. You are not a mistake. You belong here. I hope you see that. And I hope you start to sustain that feeling through creating your own set of rules and living the authentic self that you've always dreamed to be. Except we've allowed other people to dictate and guide and help us decision make that brought us to a place that is not us. And now we're not happy with who we are or where we're at in life because we've followed everybody else's direction. Follow yours. Trust in you. You've gotten yourself this far. Why can't you get any further? You got it. Now go on now. Fuel your bodies up. Go get some exercise. Get in the last bit of sunshine and feel good about you because you are incredible. I'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Thursdays, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll see you soon. Much love.